Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. Today, we are going to be taking a look at 3 clips from the new Tier 10 Premium American Cruiser Austin that just make me question who is making decisions now over at Wargaming, because this ship is quite literally insane, as you can tell by the title of the video. I wanted to give a shout out to Plane Bonk and Turret Bonk of Bonks for sending these replays over to me to show off to you guys. And yeah, this ship is, well, they've somehow managed to power creep Smolensk in terms of the ability to just vomit out shells. Like, remember when the Smolensk came out? I said, remember when the Des Moines was the worst HE spammer in the game? Well, now with Austin, it's, remember when Smolensk was the worst HE spammer in the game? And there's some other characteristics of Smolensk that, of Austin that we'll talk about as we're looking at these clips. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the first clip. Alright, so first clip up, we have Bonk in the Austin, and he is playing ranked right now. And if you look on the minimap, you see there's a Des Moines down south, along with a Daring, who are trying to, looks like, cover, there's the Des Moines radar, trying to cover the sea cap, or trying to, well, the Daring's trying to grab the sea cap. Bonk's team is thoroughly preventing that from happening. And there's the Des Moines radar, or maybe, no, that might have been the Stalingrad's radar. No, actually, no, he's way too far away. Yeah, it was the Des Moines radar. So he's just currently scoping out the scene there. There goes the random shell. So the Austin, it has 12 127mm guns, as you can tell, very modern guns, that reload in 8 seconds base. And the thing is, she has SAP and HE, but no AP. She also has DFAA on top of her already excellent AA suite that gives her the best AA in the game. And her armor is also pretty interesting. She's weak at the nose and stern. However, her upper belt is 32mm, which means, when angled correctly, she can bounce everything except for Yami and Shikishima. So let that sink in. A light cruiser that, if she angles correctly and manages to force the shells to hit on that part of the ship, can bounce every shell in the game except for Yami, Musashi, and Shikishima. And she has an improved heal on top of that, and hydroacoustic search, and her reload booster, which, unlike most reload boosters, don't decrease the reload time by 50%, but by 75%. So if you do the math real quick, 8-second reload time with that reload booster active gives you roughly a 1-second reload time, as we are now witnessing. That's a full health Des Moines right there. Alright. Now that's a dead Des Moines. In 15 seconds. What the heck? The Des Moines managed to get one salvo off at Bonk, and it only did about 5,000 damage. And you can tell the man reacted. He didn't just sit there and take it. He backed up. He was trying to angle, but SAP doesn't care. So the SAP on Austin, it's 36mm of pin, so it crosses the 32mm threshold. And SAP of this caliber, it's not like Battleship SAP. It really just doesn't care much about angling unless you are really steeply angled. And like Battleship caliber SAP, it only does 10% damage to DDs. The Austin SAP does full damage to DDs. And cruisers, obviously, too. And battleships. So, yeah, I'll let you process that for a second of what just happened there. A Tier 10 cruiser, a Des Moines, with excellent fire rates, couldn't respond to that in time. 15 seconds. That's 3 salvos max on the Des Moines. Now, if he was ready and like his guns were pointing at Bonk when he came around the corner, maybe he could have done something. But then just that's insane, y'all. Did y'all hear the fire rate? Like even with Atlanta, with her guns just singing all the time, you don't get just constant fire like that. Like that's mental. Like, jeez. All right. So, moving on to the next clip. Alright, now we join Turret Bonk, as he is currently trying to farm a Conqueror from behind this island. He's using SAP at first, and you can see he's doing a pretty good job. He's got his reload booster active. And again, just the sheer amount of shells that this ship can vomit out. Like, God. It's insane. It's literally insane. And it's so weird to hear someone say, hey, remember when Smolensk was the worst spammer in the game? Now we've got this thing. Jeez. I do like how they added in the camera shake for third-person point of view when you're watching like that. So anyway, here's the HE coming now on a Conqueror of all ships. There's a fire. Something I do notice too is like everybody seems to have better fire RNG than I do. When I play Smolensk and I'm doing exactly what Turret Bonk is doing here, it's like RNG just says no, you can't start a fire. Even though I've got a fire build on my Smolensk and all that jazz, the flags, Power Technician, no IFHE. So no, I can't start a fire. I'm not allowed to. But anyway, now we get to see some of her HE spam instead of SAP spam here for a minute. So we already started 2 fires in the Conqueror, Conqueror, for some reason, used damage con to put those out, which is a terrible idea. Because Conqueror's super heal can, of course, 100% heal all that fire damage. And plus, it's a super heal. He can just print a new ship if he wants to. So there's no real reason to pop damage con in a Conqueror, or even a Lion, or any ship equipped with an improved or super heal, because you can just heal all that back and you're just wasting your damage con for when you need it, for like when a turret gets knocked out, or if you do get like 4 fires set on you, you just need it at that moment. So he's burning down this Conqueror pretty happily right now. And you can see the firing angles, well, not the firing angles, but the shell arcs aren't quite the orbital American shell arcs that we're used to. So he is hitting that island right there quite a bit. And oh, hello, it's a Des Moines again from 9 kilometers away. So like I said, the front of the ship, it's only, I believe, 16 millimeters. So yeah, the Des Moines can overmatch that, and he is. Except he misses right there. Words are hard. And you can see Turret Bonk's angling to snug into the island right there. And there, he's missing again. The Des Moines, good reload rate, not the most accurate ship. And now he's turning to get his sap onto the Des Moines. There we go, bouncing that off the belt armor, of course. A couple of rounds in there, gets tucked into the island, nice and snug there. And bounces that off, I believe, the deck of the turret. Oh, also, by the way, they also has torpedoes. I completely forgot about that. She has torpedoes. She has 10-kilometer torpedoes, 2 more kilometers than the Smolensk. So let that sink in. She has all this going for her, on top of having torpedoes. Alright? Like, and the downside of this is that her armor isn't the best. She's also very, very, very maneuverable, too. So having torpedoes allows you to, of course, punch above your weight class. And having the insane fire rate allows you to melt down ships of your class, and even, heck, ships that are above your class too, like battleships. But you can also do stuff like this. So, Turret Bonk pulls out here, 2 kilometers for a Thunderer. I don't know why they just forgot he existed here. Gets his sets torpedoes off in the Thunderer, loads up sap, pops his reload booster for the Des Moines, who's at half health, and who, as well, by the time I get done saying this, will be dead. So there he goes. And oh look, a Shimakaze 2 right there. Doesn't get the double strike there. He's very upset by that. So he focuses his anger on the Shimakaze and then gets his double strike. Which is really a triple strike. What the heck is this ship? And he did that before they had much time to respond. Like I mentioned before, you don't have a lot of time to respond to the Austin. You really have to be ready for it just because of its insane DPM. And like in any other ship, if it was been like a battleship that was pushing, or heck, even a heavy cruiser that was pushing like that, those ships would have had time to respond to that. Alright, final clips coming up. Alright, we rejoin Balbonk here in another ranked match. Keep in mind too, all these matches are in ranked, so these guys that Balbonk and Turret Bonk are playing should be near their skill level to be this high in ranked. But anyway, Balbonk is currently hunting down a Venezia. And a lot of you guys are probably thinking, yeah, well, we've seen him take on a cruiser and a battleship and a destroyer from close range and when they don't have much time to respond and it's not in the open. Surely, facing a battleship in the open would be a death sentence for Austin because of her armor. I'm so glad you brought that up. Anyway, he's murdering this Venezia right here, who did take a big chunk from the Yami sitting behind Balbonk. And there's an Ohio right there. And there's the Yami that managed to remove about, well, 70% of that Venezia's health. And boy, oh boy. That Ohio. Ohio's a very good battleship, Tier 10 Research Bureau ship, armed with 8 40-57mm 18-inch guns. Quite capable of removing cruisers from the face of the map. I've removed many a Smolensk from long range with the Ohio, because the shells are very slow traveling. They've got that slow American AP shells, which means you don't overpin cruisers as often. So on ships like Smolensk that are commonly just overpinned by battleship caliber guns, you more often than not do get citadels off of them. Now, of course, you do still overpin them a fair bit because, of course, they are 18-inch guns. But the Austin, you'll see. So Balbonk is shadowing him right now, probably trying to decide what he wants to do. He still does have SAP queued up. I believe he's waiting for his reload booster to come off cooldown right now. And the Ohio is currently running, because he does have a Yami to deal with now. He does know Balbonk is over here too, but this is still with up. There we go. Balbonk is low HG and is starting to spam. But this is still, I believe, within the first couple of days of when Austin was released. So not everyone really knew what the ship was at this point. So Balbonk starts the HE farm with his HE, with his 8-second reload time, waiting for his reload booster to come off cooldown. Ohio returns, giving him broadside to get all 8 of his guns off of Balbonk. So let's see what happens here. Manages to get most of them to hit his upper belt, I do believe. And I think those were just over pins. No big pins there. Ah, here we go. No, he fat-fingered his DFAA instead of his reload booster. So Ohio goes behind the island. Probably a good thing that he fat-fingered his DFAA, because he would have just wasted his reload booster right there. So he gets another fire on the Ohio. And looks like the Ohio... Yep, Ohio immediately damaged combat, which is a big mistake. Especially when fighting against light cruisers. You want to hold your damage con for quite some time. Until at least 3 fires. 3 fires if you're above half health. 2 fires if you're below half health. You want to try and balance out your damage con and your heal to offset the damage that the fire is doing to your ship. Alright, so here's the Ohio again from 9 kilometers away. And there we go. Reload booster has been active. And starting up the Austin minigun there again. Shots coming in. Those connected much better. Although I don't think those are any citadels. Just pins. There another fire on the Ohio. He's got fire set on the midsection. Looks like he's aiming a bit forward to set a fire on the bow of the ship. Now he's aiming a bit toward the rear to set a fire on the rear of the ship. And his reload booster has run out now. There we go. Fire on the rear. He's still fishing for that third fire on the front, I do believe. Shells coming in. He angles. Those bounced. You just heard those shells bounce. 18-inch shells bouncing off of the Austin. What a world in which we live in. I believe a couple did overpin, though. But anyway, he's continuing to just murder this Ohio right now with his HE. And looks like he's still fishing for that fire on the front. He's going slow, playing with his rudder. Angling in yet again, and more bounces. Oh, God. Bounces and overpins. His heals 45 seconds from coming off cooldown. There's that mythical fire on the front. I guess that's another fire in the midsection of the ship as well. Ohio damage cons yet again. Now, the Ohio does have that very nice and long American damage con. So for the next 20 seconds, Balbonk will be unable to set a fire on the Ohio, but he's still pinning his superstructure just fine. Just straight up dodges those shots. Jeez. Ah, God. Does have a 22 second fire on him still. Man, this is just insane. A light cruiser doing this much damage to an Ohio. Ah, God. So he's got about the same number of pins and bounces because he is using HE. Ah, there's another fire. Here come in some more shells down to 2,000 health, and there goes Balbonk. So the Ohio did kill him, and he just set 2 more fires there right before he goes down. But he did just rinse that Ohio. Look at this. This is perfect. He's not even paying attention to the Ohio. And the Ohio is in chat. WTF is that ship? And his fire is still burning. I believe he's got 2 or 3 fires still set on the Ohio. And there he goes. Crosses 100,000 damage done just against the Ohio. Well, and a little bit of the Venezia, but it's still burning. There you just got Witherer off of 1 ship. Like, good God. Still burning up to 108,000 damage now. Yami is not paying attention. Oh, there he goes undetected. And yep, there he goes. He's finally got his damage gone off. I like this comment. Were those secondaries? Man's confused. Alright, so it turns out Balbonk did 100,000 damage just to that Ohio alone. Like, good Jesus. Now, Balbonk and Bonks in general, they are some of the best players in this game. And the Austin has a stupidly high skill floor, meaning that you have to be a very, very, very good player to do well in her. But if you are a good player, you will do astronomically well on her, as we've seen here today in just these 3 clips. Now, the ship's been called situational. I would agree with that, but if you're a good player, you can make any situation the situation you need to be in to do good with the Austin. So yeah, again, its armor scheme is very beneficial if you know what you're doing. Getting shells to hit that upper 32 millimeter belt and bouncing off of that, and just having very good situational awareness and knowing when you can take advantage of your ship and knowing when to go for it. This ship is absolutely mental. And I don't know if they had to fire the guy that said that the British light cruisers fire too fast and there was no way they could have HE. That guy must have got fired like 2 years ago when we got like the Smolensk, and now here we are at the Austin. And I'd like to say there's no way they can possibly top the ship in terms of DPM, but I'm sure they will with another cruiser eventually. But that's another discussion for another video. Just want to show off these clips for you guys. Anyway, thank you again, Balbonk and Turret Bonk, for sending those replays in. Absolutely insane games there. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way now to 25,000 subscribers, just past 23,300 a few days ago, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.